Hello folks, Jing Yuan is a very charismatic general with a god as a stand. Kinda reminds me of another handsome fella with a godlike stand.
やれやれだぜ。
And Jing Yuan is also a very strong stand user. What's special about him is all the extra damage his stand does. At the start of battle, he summons the Lightning Lord, who gets added to the turn order. This stand has his own speed and attack multiplier, which increases when Jing Yuan uses his skill or ultimate. Jing Yuan himself does the same AoE damage to all enemies, while his stand does a lot of damage to a single random enemy and splash damage to his neighbors. His skill does okay damage and his ultimate does about twice the okay damage, but when paired with his stand, they become very strong in both single target and multi-target battles. Let's take a closer look at what the stand actually does. By default, the stand has a slow base speed of 60 and starts with 3 stacks of attack. Each stack equates to 33% of Jing Yuan's attack power, but that's only when the talent is at level 1. And his stand doesn't just hit one target per stack, the 2 adjacent targets also takes 25% of the damage. That means if the random target is between 2 other enemies, you get 1.5 times the value, but the stand is still great against a single enemy. And when Jing Yuan uses his skill, the stand gets 2 more attack counts, which increases the automatic damage even more. But what's important is when he uses his ultimate. This increases the attack count by 3, which not only adds a bunch of damage, but thanks to the Ascension 2 passive, when the attack count is 6 or higher, their crit damage is increased by another 25%. This gives incentive to build more crit rate than crit damage, but we do get a lot of bonus crit rate from minor traces and at Ascension 6. And there are multiple ways to keep getting this 25% bonus crit damage. The obvious one is to use his ultimate, but you can also get stacks by using Jing Yuan's skill twice before the stand attacks. Since the stand has a low base speed, we can equip speed main stat boots to allow our general to get 2 turns before the Lightning Lord attacks. This way we can use the skill twice to get 7 attack counts in total, activating the passive. Here's the simulated damage calculator by Grimrow that compares speed and attack boots, as well as attack or crit sets on the ornaments. Space Ceiling Station is pretty low here since Jing Yuan has issues getting above 120 speed without the main stat on the boots. The speed boots is also better since it lets him land 2 skills between Lightning Lord's follow-up attack. So here's how the rotation looks in battle. This here's from the trial, and Jing Yuan has 136 speed, but even with that much speed, we cannot get 2 skills off before the stand does its first attack. That means without extra speed buffs, Bronya or using his ultimate, we cannot get the 25% crit damage bonus on the first time around. Instead, we will wait for the first stand attack to happen, then we will use 2 skills before the next stand attack. Since Jing Yuan's speed is still faster than the Lightning Lord, we can get another turn to use his skill again before the stand unloads their attack. This allows us to get 7 stacks and activate the passive. But in the next cycle, we might be low on skill points, so you can just use his ultimate and basic attacks to get 6 stacks on the stand. Then we just repeat. So let's recap. To maximize our damage potential, we want to alternate between using 2 skills for one rotation, then his ultimate for the next one. This way, we can always get that bonus 25% crit damage on every attack. But to be able to squeeze in 2 skills, we do need at least 121 speed, so let's talk about gearing him with the right relics. The 4-piece set is simple. We want the Sizzling Thunder for that lightning damage and cool looking shades. The main stat on the chest can be crit rate or damage, depending on your substats. Try to get a 1:2 ratio for crit rate to damage, and I recommend a crit rate set piece, since we want at least 50% crit rate for the ornament later. And for boots, we need the speed on the main stat to pull off the rotation we talked about earlier. The ornaments have 2 sets I recommend. The crit rate set is the best set since it can add 15% to his ultimate and stand damage. The other option is the attack set. It's a general set that's good for every DPS, but not best in slot for Jing Yuan. The main stats you want is lightning damage for the glow, and either attack percent or energy regen for the robes. Since his ultimate adds 3 attack counts, it is important to have it buff his stand when needed. And we cannot get energy regen rate as a substat for relics, so the rope is the only choice. For light cones, the best in slot is his signature Before Dawn. It increases crit damage, ult damage, and follow-up attack damage. Perfect for our general. This light cone is actually better for Himiko than Himiko's signature light cone, which is kind of funny. For 4 stars, the best one is Today is Another Peaceful Day. At Super Imposition 1, this increases his damage by 26%, and up to 52% at Super Imposition 5. However, this is a Battle Pass weapon, so not free-to-play friendly, and will take some time to superimpose. The free-to-play option is Seriousness of Breakfast from the Forgotten Hall Shop. It adds okay damage and can increase your attack during battles. Another nice pick for Jing Yuan is the Birth of Self. A lot of his damage comes from his stand, which counts as a follow-up attack, so this light cone actually boosts his damage by quite a bit. And here's the DPS comparison chart thanks to Grimroll again. We can see the 5-star weapon has a huge advantage over the 4 stars, but at Refinement 1, the 3 4-star light cones I mentioned is pretty close to each other. For teams, we want a tank and healer to keep Squishy Jing Yuan alive. Just keep the tank on one corner and Jing Yuan on the opposite one to avoid splash damage. And since his DPS is so high, he can actually take the role of a hyper carry for single and multi-target battles. Both Bronya and Tingyun are excellent supports for him. They both increases his damage by a lot, and Tingyun has the extra benefit of giving free energy. This allows us to skip the energy requirement from earlier and go with attack percent ropes. Bronya's skill does allow us to easily get more than 6 stacks of attack on the stand, but it will eat up a lot of skill points. Other supports like Pela or Asta works, but they do not offer as much synergy as Tingyun or Bronya this time around. And that's my guide on Jing Yuan. I really wanted to emphasize the ideal DPS rotation, which took the bulk of the video. The rest is pretty standard, and the damage potential of this stand user is very high. The Lightning Lord allows the pair to do very good damage even during single target boss fights. Anyways, hope this video gave some insight on building him. Thanks for watching, and as always, have fun out there, Trailblazer.